welcome to another episode of MCTV's The Middle Seats. I'm Andrew Auger.
I'm Jake Hensler.
The Middle Seats is your source for all things cinema here at Marist College. Our show is generally divided into 3 segments. We'll be talking about the biggest news in the movies this past week with the top 5, then moving to our review of The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 with a recap of the previous film in the series from a special guest. Then we'll talk to one of our hardworking assistants to get his thoughts on the film and other things in the world of movies in a segment we like to call Crew Call. Take a seat, everyone. Let's have some fun. Jake, how are we?
I think we're pretty good. What I want to know is how your Thanksgiving was over at the Auger house.
You can't do that.
What do you mean I can't do that?
You said you had topics. Jake said he had topics for banter, and then he took my topic.
Fine.
That's not fair.
Fine. New topic.
My Thanksgiving was fantastic. Thank you.
I don't care anymore.
Oink.
Have you ever seen the Amityville Horror original?
The original.
Original. Have you ever seen it?
I have not seen the original Amityville Horror.
I don't know if I recommend it or not. I was
Okay.
hoping you've seen it because I have very, very mixed feelings about it. I just watched it the other night.
Yeah. It's funny, your girlfriend and I actually watched the remake, and it was one of the most atrocious things
Oh,
I've
I've seen it too. It's really
It's
bad.
so bad. It's
yeah.
really bad.
Ryan Reynolds, man.
I know. He takes his shirt off a lot, though, so, I mean, I think the ladies probably like the movie.
Maybe that's why it's a 4.2 on IMDb.
Yeah, and not a 3.6 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. like my GPA.
More like mine, but anyway.
Not a 3.6 out of 4 for me.
Right, and
Out of 10 for you? Is that...
okay, anyway.
I'm so mean, I'm sorry.
It's okay, nice shirt.
Thank you. I think it's my dad's. I don't know. It's like a 1980s thing going on here.
I like Papa Auger's taste.
Yeah, I feel like I'm about to go to the disco after this. That's a 1970s thing, though. Right?
Okay, I don't know. Man.
All right, introvert, look up at the camera. It's time to see what's going on in the star-stricken distant land of Hollywood. This is the top 5.
These are the stories that we found the most interesting or unique, and they are ranked in ascending order.
Our number 5 story features a pair of Wills, and one is putting a wacky spin on the other's life work. Funny man Will Ferrell is attached to a comedy that will focus on an extremely intense and competitive Shakespearean theater company. The writers of Dinners for Schmucks and the upcoming Night at the Museum, The Secret of the Tomb, will pen the script, but no other details are known. We're both big Will Ferrell fans, as I'm sure the people that watch the show know already, because we've talked about him a few times. I feel like this is a project that's right up his alley. It sounds like a very interesting thing.
I want to know is he actually playing Shakespeare? Do we know who he's actually playing?
No.
What is he?
I think...
Or like a main Shakespeare character, not actual Shakespeare.
From what I understand, I think it's like a modern day time and then do just Shakespeare plays or something like that. That's what I got from the reading and stuff.
Okay.
This is the type of project that could be really, really good, but it also could go really wrong if you don't get the right
Not all of Will Ferrell's
sensibilities.
movies are a hit. I mean, Step Brothers is one of my favorite comedies of all time, but then there's like Night at the Roxbury, which was
Semi-pro, which is not good.
I didn't see that one.
Very mediocre and had its moments, but it's very mediocre overall. Yeah, we not a lot to say on this one because we don't have a lot of details on it, but I think this is a project that could work for him.
Yeah, I hope so, man. When was the last time he came up with something really, really funny?
Really, really funny. Ooh.
Right? I hope this is a good one for him.
Yeah.
Anchorman 2, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that would be it.
I mean, how about something really original and funny?
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Well, it's about that time, comic book fans. Time to give you a weekly update on what the DC Cinematic Universe is up to, as they seemingly release new info for us here at the Middle Seats every week. Although some of the Suicide Squad cast has been released, this new story is more on the hero side of things. The Wonder Woman movie starring Gal Gadot has tapped a director. DC reportedly had been looking for a female director to helm the female hero film, and they found their woman for the job in Michelle MacLaren. Not particularly known for any films, MacLaren has worked on some of the best in the television world. She's been the director on shows as early as The X-Files, all the way to recent epics like Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, and The Walking Dead. Look for Wonder Woman to lasso into theaters in 2017. What do you think about the Wonder Woman movie and the director?
I'm glad we're finally getting a Wonder Woman movie because it feels like this is long overdue.
I agree.
Like,
long time coming.
Do we have, besides Catwoman and Elektra, which are both terrible movies, do we have a good female-led superhero movie? We do not. And this is our first opportunity. I forgot Supergirl, but I guess that does not count.
I don't even know.
You didn't even know there was a Supergirl movie. That's exactly
know.
my point. But yeah, we don't have a good female-centric superhero film.
There have been good female characters, like Anne Hathaway's Catwoman was good.
Yeah.
No actual
Michelle
leads.
Pfeiffer's Catwoman, yeah.
Yep.
Gal Gadot is a good pick, I think. I don't know, her acting skill is, she's okay, she's good. But I think as far as like fitting the character, she's good. And I love this choice for director.
Absolutely. It's no secret how I feel about Breaking Bad. I'm 2 seasons into Game of Thrones. I love it. I'm up to date on Walking Dead. Mixed feelings, but I can't deny that it's very, very popular.
She did really good
viewers.
episodes of. Do you remember the episode of The Walking Dead in like mid-season 3 where he finds?
Careful. Okay.
Where he finds a character that he met in the pilot.
Yes.
And she did that one.
Okay.
I believe.
So she
did some of the best episodes of Breaking Bad
Right.
and a couple of great episodes of Game of Thrones. I mean, there's not a bad episode of Game of Thrones, I don't think. But
no, nor Breaking Bad for me.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so I have no problem
yeah.
with this.
Yeah, I think this
all.
is a fantastic and inspired choice. I'm really happy that Warner Brothers has picked someone that hasn't had a lot of exposure, but is really underrated.
Right, I agree, and I'm curious to see what she can do with her first film, being such a big film.
Agreed. Director Matt Reeves has seen plenty of success so far in his career with films such as Cloverfield, Let Me In, and this past summer's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which I adore. And our number 3 story announces a new upcoming project of his. Reeves will direct an untitled bank heist thriller, which is being produced by none other than Tobey Maguire. Reeves will direct off a script from up-and-coming story writer Matt Chairman, but he will first return to the Planet of the Apes franchise for the untitled follow-up to Dawn, which will not be monkeying around when it hits theaters on July 29th, 2016. Do you like my pun?
I love the pun, Andrew.
Thank you. Oh my God, that just made my day.
So tell us more about this bank heist movie.
I don't know.
How much more is there?
There is nothing else right now.
Okay.
We don't know anything else. We just know Reeves is the director. Maguire might star. He's definitely producing. He may star. But as we've seen throughout the semester, the first story we reported on this semester in our first episode, the Casey Affleck Boston Marathon,
right,
where he was going to star in that, no longer starring, just producing.
Wow. Okay. So it looks like he's
on that story. Yeah.
Okay. So he's taking her behind the scenes take now.
But as far as we know, Reeves is a very good director because he is able to tell a story in a way that a lot of directors forget, especially with a big budget. And I don't even really want to talk about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes anymore because I'm exhausted. But Let Me In's a good example of that too. It's a prototypical vampire movie that has a very good story and it focuses on the relationship of these 2 little kids.
I think I saw it. Is that
it came by in 2010?
Is the dad a predominant character in the movie?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah. The dad is basically the person who gets the food for the daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did see it then. Yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah.
I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I did see it.
And Cloverfield is actually a very underrated movie. I think it's a really solid movie. It heightens suspense and stuff, and suspense is important in a bank heist thriller. So I think
I haven't actually seen Cloverfield. I know there's some people really like it, some people don't. But
long story short, this is a good match for him, I think.
Right. I would agree.
You agree with everything.
Now for a runner-up story. One of the most controversial filmmakers is getting a bit more critique. No, it isn't Lars von Trier or Mel Gibson saying something dumb. It's a director who has changed modern films in this day and age, and for better or for worse, you all go see his films. Christopher Nolan has been known to leave the audience's mind blown after practically all of his films. Whether you love them or hate them, they always draw attention to themselves. Recently, Christopher Priest, author of The Prestige, had some negative criticism for Mr. Nolan. Before Nolan was well known, he asked Priest if he could make a film an adaptation for his book on the magician competition. After watching the following, Nolan's first film, Priest thought Nolan had a lot of potential and decided to give him a shot, even turning down Sam Mendes, who was just coming off his Academy Award-winning film American Beauty. Priest agrees that Memento was a very well-done film and thinks the Prestige was adapted well, but everything else Nolan has done is, I quote, shallow and badly written. Even his critically acclaimed Dark Knight trilogy, Priest thinks is boring and pretentious. Priest gave no specific details, but he made it clear that he doesn't like what Nolan is doing with his films. Nolan's best known for his Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, The Prestige, and his most recent film, Interstellar. What do you have to say about that? Are you in any agreement? Because I'm not.
Not really.
I'm not.
No. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but there's nothing I agree with here. I think he says that shallow and badly written. Some of his movies have writing flaws, of course. We discussed that.
Yeah, no.
We discussed that with Interstellar and Dark Knight Rises, but I don't think they're badly written. I think they're ambitious, and the flaws come from the ambition. And as far as what else did he say? He said that he thought they were shallow and stuff, and I don't agree with that.
There's no secret. Christopher Nolan is...
boring and pretentious is the other thing, and I don't agree with that either.
No, Christopher Nolan is one of my favorite directors right now. I've seen all of his films except one, and I love all of his films that I have seen. And I actually disagree with Priest. I think Prestige is one of my least favorite movies and I really like it. But,
I like The Prestige a lot, yeah.
Yeah, but out of Christopher Nolan's films, I think it's down. It's kind of down for me.
I don't think he's ever made like a terrible film or a bad film.
I haven't seen Insomnia, but
it's okay. It's not bad. It's just okay. It's hindered by Nolan not being able to write his own script and stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay, I
gotcha.
Yeah,
he's remaking something, but everything else he's done, I think, has been good to phenomenal and a masterpiece.
Yeah,
so,
Yeah.
So everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I don't agree with
right.
this.
And I know you're gonna yell at me for this, but general public.
It's always a good start.
Because we've had this debate before. Christopher Nolan has, I think, 9 films now.
Yeah.
and 7 of them are in IMDb's top 250. Now, I know you're going to yell at me for that, but that means general public loves his films. And
Oh, yeah.
it's undeniable that, I mean, I shouldn't say that, that's very biased, but
He has more fans than he has critics. That's for sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I
so,
mean,
makes sense.
7 films in IMDb's top 250, that's just as much as any other director out there. So I don't know, I was
There's
pretty
probably
surprised
more,
when,
yeah.
yeah.
We don't see 7 Sean Levy movies in there.
I don't know, to say his Dark Knight films and not give Inception any praise is just, I don't know.
Can you
Go on.
imagine Date Night and like the Pink Panther, like the remake of the Pink Panther being in the IMDb top
9.0 with Pulp Fiction.
Like the hell? Our top story tonight, reimaginings have been all the craze the last few years in Hollywood, and Universal plans to do the same with their classic movie monster universe. Creatures like Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, and the Wolfman have been terrifying audiences for years, but Universal is opting to move in a different direction with their reboots. This year's Dracula Untold was more of an action thriller than a horror movie. Don't expect that trend to change. Universal is attempting to cipher most of the horror out of their films. We can see if they stick to this strategy when the Mummy and Wolfman reboots are released in 2016 and 2017, respectively. Interesting top story tonight. Don't have a lot of attachment to like the iconic horror people because I'm not a big horror guy, but I mean their influence over the genre and over movies in general cannot be
Right, those are some of the originals. I know Benicio del Toro tried a Wolfman,
Yeah.
and it didn't go too well.
Yeah,
the Mummy films weren't.
I've seen bits and pieces of
weren't
that
hits.
Wolfman. It wasn't good. It wasn't really that good. Yeah, but interesting that they're changing this up a little. And I haven't heard good things about Dracula Untold.
Right, but
we
I wonder
skipped it
if-
for a reason.
Right, yeah, right. We did. I don't even know what we did that weekend, but it was.
We took the week off that week. We were supposed to do The Judge, and we canceled the show.
Right. Anyway, I think that's a very interesting take because clearly horror movies about werewolves and stuff they're not really scaring people anymore. It's not doing the job. So maybe taking it into more of an action thriller kind of perspective could really get the ball rolling again and get people seeing the movies and excited about the movies. It's interesting. I'm curious to see what happens.
It's an interesting take. It also can be done very, very wrong. as
right.
we saw with Dracula
like Dracula Untold didn't really do
which
too well.
I've heard.
So.
I mean, I haven't seen it myself, so I can't really judge. But it's an
Right.
interesting take, and I think it's an interesting story, especially to have as our top one tonight.
Yep.
That'll do it for the top 5 this week, and we'll lead into our review of The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. But before we review Mockingjay, a very special guest was kind enough to recap the previous film in the Hunger Games franchise for us, Catching Fire.
Our good friend Rachel Jarrett gave us her thoughts on the 2013 sequel. Be warned, there are spoilers for The Hunger Games Catching Fire in this next segment, but none for Mockingjay Part 1.
So without further ado, here's our brand new segment, Rachel Jarrett Describes a Movie. Take it away, Rach.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Hi, my name is Rachel Jarrett,
2 minutes.
and I'm doing a recap of Hunger Games Catching Fire. I read the book, so I knew what to expect when I saw the movie, but still, it pulled at my heartstrings because it was just so good. The fact that they brought them back a second time to these games after they already did it was just mind-boggling, first of all. Couldn't believe it. I thought the cast was amazing in the movie, loved it. Oh, goodness. The way they had the arena was amazing, beautiful, everything I pictured in my mind. People that you didn't want to die, died, and I was very upset. And I was like, oh my goodness, why are you doing this to me? Overall, the movie is amazing. And the first time Peeta, he like ran into that wall, I was like, oh snap, Peeta. Katniss, she's like devastated, but she came back to life, thank the Lord. Oh, okay. Ultimately, I love the movie. And then what I didn't love in the book and in the movie was the ending. Why? I don't understand, but why? First of all, like they say Katniss, I know, she's the savior or whatever, supposed to save everybody. But Peeta, heart and soul Peeta, love him. The Capitol, the Capitol took him. First of all, did not like that. And in the end, it just says, Katniss, our home is gone. So serious. That was Gail, by the way, if y'all didn't see the movie. That was Gail. So serious. Oh my goodness. I was like, cliffhanger. That's what I did not like. Love the movie. Everyone should go see it. First, see the first one though. See the first one. Then see the second one, Catching Fire, second one. So see that one next. Then you can go see Part 1, Mockingjay, in theaters, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm going to because I'm a dedicated reader and fan of the movies. So excited. That is my recap of Hunger Games Catching Fire. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Rachel. Now that we're all caught up on what's been happening in the Hunger Games franchise, it's time for a review of the latest installment Andrew, take it away.
Thanks, Jake. There are crazes, there are fandoms, there are cultural phenomenons, and then there's the Hunger Games. The young adult franchise has ballooned to a popularity that few franchises reach, and with good reason. These films, adapted from the trilogy of Suzanne Collins, have more to them than meets the eyes, weaving strong political commentary, satirical takes on reality television, and honest-to-God human drama through all of the dystopian sci-fi elements. The execution has been really impressive, especially with last year's Catching Fire, which was not only among the best films of last year, but also one of the best sequels I've ever seen. Needless to say, Mockingjay Part 1 has some huge shoes to fill. Director Francis Lawrence returns for the first part of this two-part finale, and here's what I'll say about Mockingjay Part 1. Much like its predecessors, it's a film with a lot of cool ideas and a handful of really good performances, some tense moments to boot. However, unlike its predecessors, it possesses some major storytelling flaws, pacing issues, and other missteps that make this the weakest Hunger Game yet, and a decent disappointment here in 2014. Mockingjay Part 1 picks up mere days after Catching Fire, with Katniss, played once again by Jennifer Lawrence, at one of her lowest points after losing Peeta, played by Josh Hutcherson once again, and all of District 12 to the Capitol, specifically the cruel, tyrannical President Snow, played by Donald Sutherland. She finds herself almost a prisoner of war to the rebellion, trapped in the confines of District 13, a militarized underground area that was thought to be removed from the map by the Capitals years ago. The leader of District 13, President Coyne, played by Julianne Moore, is convinced by Plutarch Heavensbee, played by the late Philip Seymour Hoffman, to use Katniss as means of propaganda to rally the remaining districts in war against the Capitol. Meanwhile, the Capitol has a propaganda weapon of their own, as Peeta is being used as a devious ploy to try and stop the rebellion and hurt Katniss. It's up to Katniss to become the symbol that the rebels want her to be in order to get the opportunity to save Peeta and restore peace. The Mockingjay novel, released in 2010, is about 390 pages long. From what I've heard, it's a dark and dense story, but it's certainly one that can be told within one film. Indeed, the decision to split the movies into two separate parts is a huge detriment to Part 1, which drags and meanders along without a huge sense of purpose. There's a surprising lack of urgency to the story, which so often drags when it should be rushing. I understand what Lawrence was trying to do, as he's attempting to make a build-up picture to the grand finale. However, the build-up can be just as fun as the finale if executed correctly. Mockingjay Part 1 is not a fun watch because of its dour subject material, and it's surprisingly not all that exciting either. Every time it feels like something as big is going to happen, either the writing or the editing will betray the action on screen. It's anticlimax after anticlimax, which took a lot of the air out of my personal enthusiasm. As expected, Lawrence gives another fantastic performance. Her work here may be some of the widest range of emotions she's had to pull off for Katniss yet, and she's the best thing about every single scene she's in. It's just remarkable how she consistently is able to surprise us with her talent, and she may honestly save the film from being an even bigger slog. The supporting cast around her mostly matches her intensity. The adult players such as Hoffman, Moore, Sutherland, and the returning Woody Harrelson and Elizabeth Banks all give it their all. Hutcherson doesn't have much to do here, but he's effective in his small yet crucial moments. Liam Hemsworth, on the other hand, has much more to do as Katniss' childhood friend Gale. Hemsworth can handle the pedestrian moments fine. When the spotlight's on him, let's just say he's not his brother. Mockingjay Part 1 is less of an action film than it is a political drama with action in it, and the film has a lot of interesting things to say about propaganda and the importance of media image in protecting the masses. It never gets as smart or subversive as either of the previous films, but there are things there that with interesting potential. There are certainly moments where the film jolts to life, and most of them are either Lawrence monologues or one or two sequences that are so uniquely staged visually that they can't help but be entertaining. Unfortunately, these moments are not as frequent as I would have liked, and while I applaud the film for feeling so different to its predecessors, I couldn't help but miss the surefire excitement of the deadly games. It's hard to judge Mockingjay Part 1 on its own. It's only one half of a whole. We will get a conclusion to the story the same time next year, and maybe once we've seen the whole product, some of the issues I have will disappear. As it stands now, however, Mockingjay Part 1 is rough to get through. It's 2 solid hours of misery, repetition, empty suspense, and an ending that would have been great as a second act, but is just serviceable as a climax. Mockingjay Part 1 has the makings of everything that we love about The Girl on Fire, but several glaring issues threaten to dim the intense flame that the series has been working so hard to build.
Very well said, Andrew. I agree with a lot of what you were saying. Admittedly, I went to see the movie a couple days after you did, pretty late, and I was starting to nod off toward the end. For lack of a better word, I was bored. It was tough to get through. I wasn't excited by it. Now, I know we said this earlier, I'm not the biggest fan of the Hunger Games films. I do like the first and second one, just not as much as other people. But this third one, I was genuinely surprised. I mean, I went in with relatively low expectations, and I still was not impressed.
Agreed.
To be totally honest.
Okay, I can see that. I'm a big fan of the first and second one, and I think that's why we decided that I'd write this review, because I have some background enjoying the film, and I just didn't care for it. I didn't like it on its own. like I said, it might be better as part of a whole.
Yeah.
But as its own, it's just kind of rough to sit through. Like I was checking the time a lot because I
too.
was like, are we going to speed this up? Because it's a lot of the same scenes over and over again. It deals heavily with that propaganda stuff, but it repeats the same cycle maybe 3 or 4 times.
Right.
And it's just,
And that's
by the 3rd time, I was like, enough.
right. And with the propaganda stuff, I understand why it was in there, and I don't think it should have been removed, but I think it definitely could have been done differently. I don't think they needed, I understand they want money, but they did not need to make it 2 films at all.
It's a Lionsgate decision more than a creative decision, I think, and that's kind of a shame.
Yeah.
I understand why they're doing it. They're a small company, so they're going to try to milk this cash cow for all it's worth.
Oh, yeah.
Doing the same thing with
sure.
Divergent.
And The
I think-
Hobbit.
Yeah, actually, Divergent is Summit. The Hobbit's not Lionsgate either. I don't know.
No, I'm
Doesn't
talking about, like,
matter.
splitting movies, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Milking it like a prized whore. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, it's such a popular franchise and stuff, and it's just.
Yeah, it is, and I know some people really did like the movie. I didn't get it. I was. I don't know,
I've talked
I
to
was let
people. I've
down.
talked to several people that have enjoyed it, and
Yeah.
I think if you're a big fan of the book, which I mean, I've never read the 3rd one. I made it through 1 and 2. I never made it to the 3rd, but I've
Okay.
heard it's the weakest book anyway. But I've heard it's still okay.
Yeah, but even still, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the books don't always transfer to the movie. Sometimes, like in the Shawshank Redemption's case, a lot of people say the movie is much better than the book.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't not happen.
And I will say this: kudos to the film for being its own entity, just happening to be in the same Hunger Games series, because it's not. It doesn't feel anything like a Hunger Games movie.
No, I totally agree. There is, and I like that at first. I like that there was a totally different feel to it. A feel of just like destruction and collapse and all that kind of good fun stuff until it actually didn't get fun.
Yeah.
I do agree. Lawrence was pretty good. I wanted to see. There's something that she does in the very beginning. I don't want to say in case nobody said it. I would have liked to see more of that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That might be more of a script issue than her. See, I never want to put the blame on her because I feel
No,
like she carries
it's a
the
script
series.
thing.
Not only she carries this film, she carries a series on her shoulders.
I agree with that. And I do think it's a script thing. It's not her. I would have liked to see that more incorporated into the movie. I think Peta in the scenes that he is in was very good.
Yeah. Because it's a tough performance too that Pete
Yeah.
has to give. Okay, so want to give our ratings and then our final thoughts?
Yeah,
That's
sounds
a good
good.
idea. So let's pop our ratings on the bottom, please. And Jake, I believe you're a 6 out of 10, but you were doubting that 6 out of 10.
Yeah, that 6 is pretty generous.
I used my therapeutic skills to realize that you were doubting that 6 out of 10. Why are you
Yeah.
doubting that 6 out of 10?
Well, I always have tough giving things something out of 10. Like I think last year I
The whole
gave.
premise of the show.
No, I know. I have trouble actually like even when I'm in like running wise, when I'm in a physical therapist's office, I have an injury. They're like, all right, what is this pain on a scale of 1 to 10? I never know what to say. So, I've always had trouble with that kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm doubting 6 out of 10 because I gave Transcendence, I think, a 6 out of 10 last year, and that was worse
Biggest
than this.
mistake of your life.
But at the same time, like, I don't know what a 6 means. Like, is it pretty good? Is it just okay?
6 I rank.
Average?
6 I rank is good enough to see on like a morning or a matinee, but not to pay a full price for. That's how I rank it. And how I have it
Okay.
ranked here, a 5 out of 10 for me is something that is fine to rent, but I don't think it's worth seeing in the theaters. Although everybody's going to see this in the theaters anyway. It's quickly on its way to becoming the biggest film of the year, as expected. Yeah, my final thoughts: disappointing. One of the bigger disappointments I've had this year.
I would agree. I hope part 2 blows it out of the water, but I was not impressed by this one.
Some of the issues I have are not really the film's fault. It's more of outside factors. But yeah, good things here, but not enough to save it from being kind of dull.
It plain and simply did not need to be 2 movies, and I think that's his main downfall. So that was our review of Mockingjay. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, a member of our middle seat staff is going to give you his thoughts on the film in a debut segment, Crew Call.
Stick right here.
Yeah, the money. I'll be there soon.
I forgot I say the next thing.
We have to work on our transitions.
Yeah, we do.
That's our like one big thing.
Yo, Drew, I got your text. What's up?
I don't know. Jake's been quoting lines from Pulp Fiction all day.
Yo, Jake, what's up? I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
What are you even saying?
Say what again? Who say what? Does he look like a bitch?
We are literally the only two people in this room right now.
That is a tasty burger.
Do we call a doctor or something?
I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger. Now that's a threat.
The Middle Seats, every other Thursday, only on MCTV.
Supposed to do that? Did you buy the body? Oh, welcome back to the Middle Seats. Jake and I just gave our thoughts on Mockingjay. It's time to find out what others think. Here from our crew to give you his thoughts is Josh Selkovitz. Josh, how are you today?
I'm pretty good, thanks, guys.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're
thanks.
here. It's good to have an outside opinion.
I'm glad to be here.
Josh, why don't you tell us first of all, like stuff about you? What's your major?
I'm actually a media studies and production major, freshman, first semester here at Marist, loving it. Can kind of feel the stress of finals coming
week,
along,
yeah.
and
you will.
all the
remember
outside
that.
projects. So, you know, it's just good to come here and do something fun, get a little stress off the shoulders. But yeah,
What better way to do it than discuss movies?
oh,
Exactly.
I do that all day, every day.
So what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite movie? Just by curiosity.
I always had trouble answering that question, but
It's so hard.
That is a tough one.
But I will say that Empire Strikes Back is definitely up there. It was one of the first movies that I saw that I could fully like understand what I wanted to do. So it's kind of got that, on top of being a great film, as I'm sure many would agree, it's kind of got that nostalgic factor for myself. So I would say that overall Empire is my favorite film. But
Not a bad choice.
but
very
from
good
hearing
choice.
all the things that were about Force Awakens, you never know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A
Well,
lot of question marks there.
A lot
I
of
don't
questions.
even want to think about that yet.
That took your breath away.
We got a year. We got a year.
I almost broke my keyboard watching that trailer over and over again. All right, but anyway, Josh, how about we preliminary thoughts on Mockingjay? Just very basic thoughts, and then we'll ask specifically.
I thought that I did enjoy it a little bit more than you guys did. A lot of the points that you did bring up in your review, I completely agree 100%. The one thing that I will say that, you know, is the whole movie, the Lionsgate thing with splitting it into two parts. I did read Mockingjay. It was a tough read to get through, but seeing where it could go, hopefully, from part one into part two, I didn't dislike it, I guess, as much as I could tell that you had some redeeming qualities. You could tell there's some redeeming qualities in it, but I think as a whole, I can understand where it's going a little bit more, which kind of doesn't pull it down as much. But then at the same time, there was a lot of issues that I did see that, you know, can't really overlook in a movie, in a franchise this big at this point.
So I'm getting the feeling you liked it more than you didn't. So let's start with the issues first. What are your problems with it first, and then you can talk about what you liked.
Right. Well,
Without spoilers, obviously.
Oh,
yeah,
he
of course.
knows. Don't have to baby him. Come on.
My biggest issue is the one thing that you guys said also is the splitting it into two parts. I feel like it takes away so much from what the film could have been if it was just one consecutive movie. Like I said, there was no true climax, and the build-ups were just build-ups to more rising action, I guess you could say, overall.
Ooh. Art of film words, I like it.
Thank Professor Lawrence for that one. She was very good. I didn't know that coming in, but you know, it's always good to get the reinforcement.
No endorsing on the middle seats. Keep going.
You know, I will say though that the pacing, like you said, there were some scenes that should not have been as long as they were. There were some scenes that I thought could have been longer to give a sort of emotional tense that I was looking for, because as you guys did say, you know, going in, this is a completely different movie. I do like the propaganda aspect, but I guess I'll get into that a little bit when we talk about more of the things I did enjoy. I really think that one of my problems is the underuse of some of the characters, being that it was stretched out. I think that Finnick was underused a little bit too much.
I agree with that.
I really enjoyed his character in Catching Fire, and the fact of the matter is he wasn't really used to his full potential.
And
as
Sam
much.
Claflin's so good in the role too.
He's great. And one thing I didn't also like about what he did is I understand and I enjoyed the little bit more serious tone, but I missed the lighter Finnick. Like I I felt like that was such a key part of Catching Fire, and I understand Katniss had to be kind of like the reluctant hero coming into Mockingjay, where she really didn't want to be the savior after everything that's happened. But you kind of expected that. I didn't expect that from Finnick. I thought that they would try to give us at least more of the things that we come to know. Josh Hutcherson as Peeta. I thought Peeta as a whole was great. Like I said, I read the book, so the things that he was in completely understandable. Didn't think that he was under or overused.
And I can see if that's a book thing.
Yeah. Gale, I've never been as big a fan as Gale as maybe some other people did.
The character or the actor?
The character.
Both.
I'm fine with. I'm actually fine with Liam Hemsworth. I mean,
I was fine with him for a while, and I've been watching some of his stuff. He's like, he's kind of shitty. He's not very good.
Yeah, I'm not a Liam Hemsworth fan.
I agree that he couldn't carry like that. That was one scene that he was in.
You know what I'm referencing?
Yeah,
right?
I completely understand where you were going with that. But I mean, the character. I liked how he stepped up a little bit. I liked how he was like Katniss's backup, but I just didn't see his necessity for a large part of it. So I guess those were some of my bigger drawbacks of the film.
Okay, Josh. So you gave me your rating earlier.
I did.
Let's drop the rating on the screen, and it's a 7.5, right?
It was a 7.5.
And why don't you give us some final thoughts?
Overall, I did enjoy the film because, like I said, as a book thing, I could tell where they're going. And if this part one was a whole, I think it would have been such a better thing. I feel like I'm gonna go next year to see the midnight premiere of part 2, and they're gonna show part 1 right in front, hopefully.
They might even show Catching Fire too. They like to stack them.
Yeah, you never know. And I feel like when I see it like that, it will make more sense to the viewer, and I think hopefully it will even bump up your guys' rating a little bit. We'll see about that.
You never know.
You never know.
I think it is good that we have two different perspectives here.
Right.
You who have read the book, so you know where they're going, what they're going to do,
Yeah.
why they did or didn't do certain things. Where us, I didn't read any of the books. Andrew didn't read
He
the
was
third
much
one.
more detailed than us. Like I feel like I'm in book club right now.
Like I'm strictly looking at it as a moviegoer basis. So I have an idea of what they're going to do or what I hope they're going to do, but I don't actually know. So I'm a little blind, but I think it's good we have two different perspectives because as a single movie, I don't think it was great. Where you think it was a decent setup.
I do agree with it wasn't as great of a movie, but like I said, knowing the fact that it is more of a setup, it kind of helps me get through the tougher, drier parts.
And it's in a different perspective.
Yeah.
So good assessments everywhere. While Josh is here, we thought it'd be a little fun to play a little game with him. He doesn't even know about this yet.
Oh boy.
We're gonna give him some ridiculous hypothetical situations relating to movies, and he has to tell us what he would do in this situation.
Josh Suckowitz, you are officially on the hot seat.
Whew.
All right. So we got some questions for you, Josh.
This should be interesting.
Are you ready? Is it getting a little more warm over there? We put some heaters under the chair.
I think it might be more of the lights, but
you get it wrong, we'll light a match and we'll just set your pants on fire.
Got it.
Just turn the dial.
Okay, listen carefully. You have been imprisoned in King's Landing for crimes against the Lannisters that you did not commit. You demand a trial by combat, and the Lannisters abide, but they put you up against a dragon. But little do they know you possess time and dimension traveling abilities. Who in the cinematic universe fights for you? And I've got a couple options, but you can go off. A, King Kong. B, the Incredible Hulk. C, Godzilla. D, the combined efforts of Michael Cera and Jesse Eisenberg. Or E, other, and why for all of those?
God, I
why?
love this.
Oof, this is
If you need to repeat on answers, let us know.
Let's see.
15 seconds.
Ooh.
Oh, stop it.
I've been banned.
Don't start that again.
I think I would actually go with Hulk because I would not like to see him mad, and even if it's a dragon, I don't think that he would have that much of a trouble. I mean, he did flip a god onto cement like 4 times, so
Interesting. Interesting.
Why not?
Okay.
Yeah, I like D the best. D's my favorite.
I mean, if we're going logical, I don't.
We're not.
Okay, then yeah, D's correct. Illogical.
All right, question 2 for him.
Question 2. You have a gun with 2 bullets in it. You have 3 subjects in front of you. Who do you shoot? A, the Joker. B, Hannibal Lecter. C, Norman Bates. D, other.
And we worded this weirdly, so you're shooting 2 of them.
Right. You're in a room and you're shooting 2.
Who will you let live? How about that's the better question?
Live?
Out of the Joker, Hannibal Lecter, Norman Bates.
Hoping they don't kill you after.
Other is just you miss really badly and hit like a pedestrian. That's what.
I'd probably let the Joker live, depending on whose Joker it is.
Ooh, I didn't even
Okay,
think of that.
all right.
Cesar Romero, you're okay.
Heath Ledger, you're okay.
Ledger.
Oh, shit. I mean,
Ledger's bombing hospitals, man. I'm not letting him go anywhere.
And just a warning.
Mark
Just a
Hamill is
warning
good.
this time.
Mark Hamill is good. He's a little.
All right.
Fun with
Question number 3. You are a mad scientist working for the U.S. government on a mutant/cloning project that will weaponize your subject. However, you are tasked with picking an adorable animal from a children's film
So messed
as
up.
your weapon. Which one will you choose? A. Thumper from Bambi.
Oh, God.
B. Goofy. C. Doug from Up. D. Michael Cera from Anything He's In. Or E. Other. And why?
That's such a messed up question.
Take everything you love and just weaponize it.
Can I weaponize Wally? Because I feel like he wouldn't
Oh
try
my
to.
God, I didn't.
You're too, like,
That's good.
I guess.
Good.
I feel like he'd be too nice though to actually try to
I feel
harm
like Eve
anyone.
would divorce him.
Wally.
The trash compactors are actually like grenades.
Just boom.
He literally picks things up and smashes them down. Like,
I like Thumper because someone brought up the idea. Was it you that? No, it was my housemate that came up with the idea of Thumper. You like make his foot like weaponized. He calls it.
and did you see the Goofy movie when you were younger?
I do, but it probably only a couple
The
times.
dream sequence when Goofy gets huge,
Oh
and
my
just with
gosh,
his
yes,
laugh.
of course.
Yeah, I don't know. We went really far with
That
this.
would
Anyway,
scare the crap out of me.
I would be running.
All right, give him question 4.
Question 4. You were in a Freaky Friday-esque situation where you switched bodies with a movie character of the opposite sex. Playing out the events of the entire film with them, who do you pick? A. Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman. B. Demi Moore from Ghost.
Think about the pottery scene.
C. Natalie Portman from Black Swan. D. John Travolta from Hairspray. Or other.
This is a very tough one.
This could be a revealing question if you answer this incorrectly.
I knew this one off the bat. But.
I don't know.
It's obvious. It's so
You
obvious.
know what? I've been very good here. I think I'm gonna go with other again. I'm gonna actually give you Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, because I think it'd be pretty damn cool to be a super spy.
Your ass would look nice in the leather. It would.
He is totally like ripping up these questions right now.
I know. He's giving us good answers.
He
though.
is. He is.
Why would you pick C, Jake?
No further comments.
Someone's in the control room. They would not be happy with that. All right, question 5 is kind of serious, and it's your last question.
Okay.
And the hardest.
This is the hardest one. You're a historian in the distant future. The all-time archives of film are full. You must delete one classic film from the history books altogether. This film will never, ever be seen again. What will you choose? A. Star Wars. B. The Godfather. C. Toy Story. D. Raiders of the Lost Ark. E. Other, or any Michael Cera movie.
Now, before you continue, there is no right, wrong, or good answer. So,
These
on
are
that,
all-
okay.
Oh, there is a
Yeah.
wrong answer. There is a wrong
Oh,
answer.
there's a very
You're
wrong
right.
answer there.
You're right. There is a wrong
there's
answer.
a
There are
wrong
multiple
answer
wrong
there.
answers. But
Oh my God.
you can take your pick.
I'm actually going to go other.
Believe it or not.
You know what?
No, don't turn him. I don't want like. All right, never mind. Go
All
ahead.
right, Josh. 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Wow, that's
We got to
really
wrap up
high.
here. This show's like 40 minutes now.
Oh my God. Well, you know, I'm gonna go with Michael Cera movies.
Which
Okay, no.
one?
Come on. Did you put that in there?
I threw it in there the last second.
No. Okay. No.
Continuity, Jake. So you're deleting year 1 from the classic annals.
Completely. 100%.
Bastard.
Fine.
Sorry.
He beat the system, and
Josh Sukowitz, you're off the hot seat. Now you're freezing. And we're just about done here on the middle seats.
if you'd like to like us on Facebook, the link is below me. If you have a question or comment for the show, or you'd like to be on a future segment, or if you have some opinions on this question, our Yahoo email address is also below.
Well, that'll just about do it for us. I'm Jake Hensler.
I'm Josh Salkowitz.
And I'm Andrew J. Keep that seat warm, everyone. We'll be back in the season finale very, very soon.
Did you put Michael Cera in? That was such a good question.